The story begins in the forest of Russia, with a group of hunters and experts. One of them is cryptozoologist Travis Preston and his team of scientists who are in search of species that have not yet been recorded. While passing through the middle of the forest, they had seen claw marks and scratches on the trees, and in a short while, the carcass of a giant bear was also found. But everyone in this team had not come for scientific discovery, and for this reason, Travis felt irritation upon seeing Harker with a rifle. Harker said, while laughing, that this is only for safety, and he deliberately stood away from the rest of the people. While everyone was examining the bear, Travis had found a very large tooth in that carcass, from which it was clearly evident that some other much larger creature had attacked this bear. His companion Brandon also said while boasting that he has measured such footprints which would make even Bigfoot feel ashamed. Travis's real goal was to prove the existence of the prehistoric bear in this forest. But now darkness began to surround rapidly, and one member of the team was insisting on going back. Travis flatly refused to leave the project at this time, and decided to stay in the forest under any circumstances. At night, everyone was sitting in ambush, and during this time Harker told stories of bloodthirsty bears to the young Scot to scare him, who can smell the scent of human fear. Just then, Brandon saw some movement in the bushes, and everyone laughed when a skunk came out from there. But the laughter did not last long, because right after that, the real bear appeared in front. Harker's theory proved true when that animal pounced directly on the old member who was most afraid of it. Travis had stopped the hunter from firing and started shouting loudly and waving his hands to make himself the target of the bear. As soon as the bear's attention went towards him, Travis lured it into a trap while running like crazy and tried to make it unconscious with a tranquilizer dart. The animal began to grow weak, but suddenly Harker started firing bullets without warning, which reduced the effect of the medicine. In anger, the bear broke the trap and started attacking everyone who came in its way. Unfortunately, Scott became the prey, and he could not survive that blow. Upon returning to London, Travis was struggling with guilt and at the same time, was also facing continuous lawsuits filed by Harker. Just then, another lawyer came to his office, and at first, Travis thought that this too is some man of Harker, but his name was Doug, and he was the representative of an extremely wealthy client who is constructing a pipeline in China. Recently, a glimpse of a mysterious creature had completely disrupted the work, and for this reason, Doug wanted Travis to help him catch that creature. But Travis had turned down this invitation, because he was still shaken by his previous experience. However, as soon as he saw a video, in which an animal was visible that looked exactly like a dragon, his mind changed. Filling with excitement, he had flown to China with Brandon and Katie, and after reaching there, he introduced both of them to Doug. Along with Doug there was also an interpreter Bai, who was going to be the guide for this team. While going towards the base, Doug had explained that some laborers have gone missing, while some have run away in fear. Especially after that video came out, Travis wanted to start work immediately. But Doug said that some terms of the contract are still to be decided, and the real work will start only from the next day. That same night, a laborer went around the area for the last time and reported that everything is fine. But then suddenly, a strange sound was heard, which caught his attention. Taking a torch, he started searching in the direction of the sound, and as the sound became louder, he felt as if some very large creature is colliding with everything while moving rapidly. Realizing the danger was near, he quickly started climbing a ladder, and as soon as he reached the top, suddenly a giant animal attacked him. The next morning, construction work continued normally, as if nothing had happened in the night. Bai helped take Travis inside through the gate, but even before the parking, an angry Chinese woman stood blocking the way. She was asking while shouting, who was in the car. Her name was Dr. Lan Zhang. Travis explained to her that he has come here to investigate a wild animal. But his surprise increased even more when the woman asked if his name is Jim Harker by any chance, and at that same time the real Harker arrived there, and he tried to stop Travis from going inside, saying that he is a threat to everyone's safety. The situation worsened when it was found out that Harker has also brought a cameraman with him who is sitting ready to record this entire adventure. In anger, Travis threatened to leave the project, but his team convinced him that no matter how hollow Doug's excuses are, they have to stay here and complete their work. In a hurry to find that mysterious creature before his rival, Travis talked to the laborer Han Wu and expressed his desire to meet the person who had first recorded that video. Meanwhile, by the lakeside, Katie and Doug were talking, when suddenly bubbles started rising on the water surface. Katie said that the fish must be afraid of something, and then Brandon's heart skipped a beat when a powerful wave hit his equipment. Understanding the danger, Katie immediately warned Doug to move away from the water. Doug did try to run, but as soon as he saw that the wooden planks under his feet were becoming loose, he got terribly panicked. The next moment, a giant reptile-like tail destroyed the entire pier. Doug stood trapped on the broken part for a while, trembling with fear. Then Katie's screams brought him to his senses, and he somehow jumped and stepped onto dry land, barely escaping from that sea monster. Han-woo took Travis to Professor John Yu, who flatly refused to talk about the video, and started looking at Travis with suspicion. His point was that it is not clear yet as to which side Travis is actually on. After this, Doug called everyone to the mortuary. There, Katie took the opportunity and told Travis about the incident that happened at the lake. Because the coroner was not ready to show the body until some pathologist arrived, Travis asked Brandon to take his form because he was the only one in the team who knew the Chinese language. This deception became even more complicated when the sheet was removed, and Brandon was about to vomit seeing the condition of the corpse. Somehow he opened the door and let the rest of the companions inside. Then Katie saw an extremely large tooth stuck in the body of the corpse, which was still stuck there until now. The matter heated up even more when Harker himself also arrived in the mortuary and started threatening Travis that if he did not hand over everything found immediately, he would file new lawsuits. But when he said while mentioning Scott's death that the boy died because he was weak, Travis could not control his anger, and he punched directly on his face. After a while, Han-woo reached the camp with Professor John Yu, who had now decided to cooperate after thinking carefully. He told that his brother also used to work at the construction site, and he became the prey of that creature, while his death was formally declared as an industrial accident. For this reason, he searched for evidence of that animal with all his might, and succeeded in filming it when it was coming down from the hill near the lake. Travis asked why John Yu is ready to help now. So he confessed that initially he had made comparisons, because Harker also came there after some time, and tried to buy information by giving a huge amount. But John Yu clearly said that he strictly dislikes such people who weigh everything with money. After this, he took Travis to the place where the footage was shot. There they found a giant footprint near a blood-stained broken helmet. All three were stunned by the power that would be needed to cause such destruction. Then suddenly the trees started shaking loudly, and Bai's face turned white with fear. Everyone understood that the same monster is present there. Travis started running as soon as he grabbed the camera and began chasing that animal as if he himself were the hunter. But the real hunter was that dragon, which turned out to be as fast as lightning, and after circling many times, it jumped straight into the lake. Even if he wanted to, Travis was unable to record this encounter. As soon as night fell, Harker's people started questioning the delay and reminded him of his own boast that he would end these attacks. But Harker turned out to be insensitive as always. He said that he has come to China only because this goal is extremely difficult. Otherwise, for a hunter of his level, no challenge is left in the world now. The only person who showed the courage to speak in front of him was Dr. Young. A heated argument broke out between the two regarding the nature of this creature. Harker still remained adamant on the fact that this is just a giant crocodile, while Dr. Young suspected that this is not an animal of any known species. She told that she has found some very strange types of molecules in the water. But Harker was not ready to listen to her. He only wanted results and started blaming the whole team as to why his target has not come into his grip yet. The next day, Travis sat with the youngsters and told them about his career. He shared that he had chosen cryptozoology back when he was a small boy, because he had gotten a glimpse of a creature that was considered a myth, and then no one had believed him. Interrupting his memories, Katie came and gave news that another attack has taken place, but this time even Doug could not clear the way to reach that place. Hearing the conversation, Han-woo said that he has his own way to reach there, and Travis immediately got ready to go with him. Han-woo distracted the guards, and during this Travis, hiding behind the bushes, reached directly to the scene of the incident. There he took some pictures and started examining a yellow object fallen on the ground. Just then, Young reached there with a gun. She had come to drive away any curious member of the rival team, but she got impressed seeing Travis's knowledge. She was even more surprised when she heard that Travis's intention is not to kill this creature, but to understand it. At night, a companion of Young, whose name was Fry, gradually began to change sides, and said that now his loyalty to Harker is hanging just on a thread. Just then, a loud explosion occurred nearby, and sirens started ringing. Dozens of laborers ran in panic to save their lives. In the chaos, an accident also happened, and a laborer was almost about to die being crushed. He somehow survived, but his breath could only last for a few seconds because immediately after, the dragon grabbed him. Now Young became more convinced that this is not the work of any crocodile. The next day she wanted to talk to Harker about the possibility of catching the creature alive, but he did not even let her complete her talk and said while taunting that perhaps her and Travis's relationship is deeper than professional. For this reason, she gives so much importance to his crazy thinking. In the meantime, Katie convinced Doug that he should take some experience of field work himself, and finally he agreed. He got ready to go on an overnight boat trip with the group. Brandon lowered the sonar equipment into the water, and the entire team began to wait impatiently. Then suddenly the sound of a beep started coming, and everyone got excited, because something was coming near. Travis stood up and started peeking into the mist, and gave a sarcastic smile when he saw the boat of the other team. Despite this, he was relieved that Harker is not present in it, and no one had come forward to defend his evil. But then the equipment started ringing again, and both teams realized that something very big is right beneath them. The sound of the beep became so loud that suddenly a jolt was felt, and some giant thing hit the boat from below. Almost all the people fell into the water. Fry and Young tried to reach Travis's boat by swimming, while 2 people from the other team started firing upon seeing that creature. No injury was caused to the animal by the bullets, rather it became even more aggressive. In fear, both decided to run away from there without waiting for the rest of the companions. Young was unable to swim, therefore Travis himself jumped into the water and caught her, and brought her back to the safe boat. In the meantime, Fry had almost drowned. Travis started swimming towards him in an attempt to save him, but before that monster appeared in front and swallowed Fry before everyone's eyes. Everyone knew that the digestion of this creature is very fast. Therefore, the rest of the people ran towards the shore to save their lives, and were barely able to get out from there in just a few moments. When Harker received the news of Fry's death at the camp, there was no effect on his face. On the contrary, he lashed out at his hunter companions, saying that they should have told him beforehand that they are going to the lake. Doug's morale was broken by this incident, and he started saying while rebelling against Travis's team that perhaps Harker is right, and that monster should be finished as soon as possible. Katie was extremely disappointed hearing Doug's talk because she was attracted to him. But Travis explained to her that the creature is only protecting its territory, and the real threat is Harker, who is putting everyone's life in danger only for name and fame. This talk of his returned the morale of the team to some extent. Only Young was still disturbed by the death of her companion and the indifference of the other people. The next morning, Katie also expressed her concern that if the dragon is actually around 6 meters long, then the cage and darts they have may not be enough for it. Then Brandon called both of them and played the sound recorded in the microphone from underwater. Katie said that it sounds like the song of some whale. They started forming a theory that perhaps the sounds of the construction work have become the reason for that creature coming into this area. But more data was needed to prove this. Young told that her original team had done a complete geological analysis. But unfortunately, sharing that report is impossible, because Harker keeps everything secret. Instead of giving up, Travis asked him for help, so they could infiltrate the rival camp and gather information. As soon as it got dark, both of them put the plan into action. They jumped the fence, hid behind wooden boxes, and slowly reached near the office. Travis was about to break the lock when Young opened the window and gestured to him. However, within a few minutes of entering, they were caught. Harker confiscated the USB and tied Travis's hands with plastic ties. He remarked sarcastically that shooting them wouldn't be right, because questions could be raised. But if their remains were found by the crocodile tree, no one would even suspect anything. Harker left them locked up, without realizing that plastic ties were no obstacle for Travis. He immediately freed himself, and then Young. While leaving, he opened the gas, which caused an explosion that made a hole in the wall, and they escaped from there. However, they ran in the wrong direction, and came into the sight of the guards. While heading towards the jungle, a goon on a bike started chasing them, but Young's patience broke. He picked up a piece of wood and knocked him down, and both of them snatched that bike. Upon returning to the camp, their hands were empty. Just then, Doug handed a USB to Travis, and said that there are other ways to persuade people. The data revealed that a network of underground tunnels is spread beneath the area. It was linked exactly to the same yellow material that Travis had seen before. Now it was clear that those tunnels were the creature's habitat, and that was the reason sonar could not catch it. The team set out on another hunt. This time, Travis left Hanv and Bashi behind, because he did not want to put civilian lives in danger again. This time, the plan was to use the machine made by Brandon, which could mimic the creature's voice. But as soon as Young felt some movement 300 meters away from the boat, Brandon panicked and could not start the machine on time. Then the monster suddenly collided with the boat, and Katie's leg got injured. Without saying anything, Brandon jumped into the water and went deep to fix the device. The creature moved rapidly towards him, and just then he finished the settings. There was no time to return to the boat, so he came up and shouted for someone to press the button. This time, Doug took the leap and pressed the button, and sounds began to come out of the machine. Immediately, the monster got scared and ran away. Seeing Katie's condition, Travis started thinking about taking her to the hospital, but she stopped him and said that this is the last chance to follow the creature and reach its cave. On the other side of the lake, Harker was in his boat, and one of his goons spotted Travis's boat. They didn't even realize they were under surveillance. The team entered the cave, and the area inside was so large that they could even disembark from the boat. Katie was left at the entrance, where she was watching the boat while John Yu and Doug were looking after the work of assembling the cage. Meanwhile, Travis went deep into the cave with Brandon and Jung. Then Harker suddenly arrived, and his goons killed Doug when he tried to resist. Without knowing all this, the rest of the people kept moving forward, and were amazed to see the massive size of the cave. Finally, they saw the real owner of that place, the creature that was sleeping on a rock. Travis observed the creature from a distance, and said in a serious tone that this looks like something that is a mixture between a reptile and an amphibian, and has remained completely unknown until now. As soon as the beam of the flashlight fell on its skin, the creature let out a deep roar, and its muscles began to twitch. Seeing this terrifying sight, everyone stood stunned for a moment, and backed away. Brandon, who was already nervous about setting the dart shooting machine, became even more terrified. Due to the machine's malfunction, the creature realized that an attack was about to happen against it. Its anger increased, and it started the chase with powerful steps that shook the domed ceiling and walls. Travis tried to stop the creature while running swiftly towards Brandon, but the monster's scale and power were so massive that it was easily surpassing him. Fortunately, Travis saw a side hole. This place was too tight for its giant head. He immediately entered there and shrunk his body. Travis loudly instructed Brandon to aim for the mouth and fire the dart in the right direction. But his voice diverted the creature's attention, and now it began searching for both of them together. Travis and Young immediately hid themselves in the nearby narrow and winding paths for their safety. With one jerk of the creature's jaw, a massive rock moved from the ground and started falling over them. They barely managed to crawl into the nearby alleys. Travis fired the dart several times, not knowing whether any hit the target or not. Finally, when the creature came to attack him directly, Travis held the weapon like a shield and protected himself from its jaws. Everyone held their breath as their hearts beat loudly. In the darkness of the cave, only the creature's roar and the sound of their own heavy breathing echoed. There was a danger of death at every step, and Travis had to take every step thoughtfully to get his team out safely. As soon as the effect of the tranquilizer shot took hold on the creature, its massive body gradually began to loosen. The strength of the muscles diminished, and finally, it fell with another thud. The atmosphere in the cave became even more frightening with blood, dust, and light droplets of water. Young and Brandon hesitated for a few moments but gathered their courage and went near the creature. Seeing its giant feet, thorny claws, and glowing eyes up close, they realized the truth of how rare and powerful this creature was. But their joy and admiration were suddenly broken by the echo of Harker's sarcastic clapping. The sound of his taunts echoed on the cave walls, and it felt as if the whole place was clapping for his victorious hunt. Travis could not control himself. He questioned within himself whether this is truly the glory for which one should hunt. Does shooting an unconscious creature give anyone the pride of the hunt? Harker said with a cold, calculating smile that only pictures with the dead creature hold importance for him. There was no place for true understanding of the animal or its protection. Angry at this disgusting attitude of his former boss, Young began to express his displeasure in front of him. He cut off his arguments, taunted him, and gave a fitting reply to his insolence. Harker, who was immersed in his ego, got so distracted by this that he deviated from his goals. Brandon took advantage of the opportunity and pounced on a goon, while Travis picked up his gun and attacked Harker. But the biggest twist came when Travis revealed the truth. This fallen creature was only a juvenile, and it wasn't the one that had attacked their boat. He was just about to disclose this when movement occurred from a deep corner of the cave. The giant mother creature appeared, filled with rage and anger. The fire in her eyes and her roar were so terrifying that the cave walls began to tremble. She immediately ran after a goon, who saw his companion being swallowed before his eyes. The other goon, completely terrified by the sight, ran away. Brandon took advantage of this chance and opened the way for his friends. Travis pulled Young forcefully and took him into a narrow crack, where both of them silently tried to catch their breath and compose themselves. Their hearts were beating fast, their hands and feet were trembling, and the smell of the cave and the fear of the creature's presence were dissolved in every breath. The silence lasted only for a few moments. Outside in the cave, the echo of the mother creature's footsteps and her fierce voice were still echoing. It was clear that the mother was putting all her strength into protecting the juvenile creature, and this anger made Travis and his team realize that they could now only survive through their intelligence and quick decisions. Suddenly, the same goon appeared, screaming and begging to be allowed to stay there as well. Travis tried to stop him by putting his hand over his mouth, but by then, the damage had been done. The creature immediately attacked him, and Travis and Young began running towards the cave exit. While running, they saw that Harker had taken everyone hostage. He had locked Katie and Doug in a cage. Travis decided without any hesitation that he too would have to enter the cage to handle the situation. As soon as the giant creature reached there and saw Harker, it threw him towards the rocks, making Harker unconscious. Then the creature started pushing the cage forcefully, and it began spinning with everyone inside. Meanwhile, Brandon, who was the only one left outside, tried to distract the creature. He was almost about to be swallowed by the creature's jaws, but Travis saved him using the same strategy with quick steps. The creature was now in a complete rage, but the team tried to control the situation with their wisdom and quick decisions. The sound of the cage in the cave, the creature's roar, and the mixture of their running was so scary that every moment it felt as if any second could bring death. But Travis and his team were now ready to face every challenge on the strength of experience and courage. Travis immediately told everyone to run towards the boat, and then entered the cage alone. But he had the device made by Brandon with him. As soon as he activated the device, the creature became furious and started lifting the cage with the strength of its neck. Air and water splashes were flying around the cage, and the people locked inside were screaming in fear as they were tossed around. But it didn't take long before the creature gradually calmed down under the influence of the shot. Travis maintained control of the device, and finally, the creature's activity decreased. Outside, the team was screaming for Travis in anxiety and waiting for him from the boat. As soon as he emerged from the water, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. After some time, the creature was kept under surveillance in a nature reserve provided by China. It was also found that Harker was never found after that day. Meanwhile, Doug also told the truth to his friends and revealed that he was the mysterious client who had confused everyone earlier. This entire incident gave the team not only the experience of a real hunt and courage, but also taught them that respect, wisdom, and courage are the keys to real victory. The team understood the world of an unknown and powerful creature and succeeded in keeping it safe, while the significance of human greed and ego also came to light. This story ends here.